Hey everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Payton, the only show on the internet where a white guy stands in his kitchen and shows you how to cook foods. So let's get started. So this week we're going to make chicken Alfredo, one of my favorites. So to get started, we're going to need some chicken. So first of all, when you guys are going to be working with meats, don't use, this is heavy, don't use a wooden cutting board. Why? Because while you're cooking on, when you're cutting, moving the meats around, all those juices, like chicken has a lot of salmonella, right? So all those juices are gonna sink into the wood and then stay there. It's gonna be really hard for it to get out. So it's more important to use a plastic cutting board when working with meats. And so we're gonna get one chicken breast here. And so you can see this is a very big chicken breast. It's, here it's really thin, skinny, while this side it's nice, it's really big and thick. So what we're going to do first, we're going to want to even it out. So let's get a plastic bag. So one, we can season it, and then we can also flatten it out. Wash your hands though. Corona time.
It's Corona time.
Okay, so what we're going to do right here is we are going to nobody's going to watch the show. Alright, so we're going to put our chicken breast in the bag. So that's when we start one. It's still kind of frozen, I'm an idiot. Alright, so we're going to start with that. So really to flatten out a chicken breast, you can use a lot of things. I'm going to use a rolling pin if I can find one. That's what I'm currently looking for right now. If you can't find a rolling pin, oh, there's that back there. But yeah, so I got a rolling pin here to flatten it out. So really, you can use whatever type of heavy, solid objects, that you need. So first, so we got a rolling pin. We're gonna season it up. Something really simple: salt and pepper. Kind of give a lot of flavor to your chicken before you cook it. Something a lot of people don't think about is pre-seasoning their foods. They get, they just kind of work with the basics and then they add salt, pepper, whatever after. So, but they don't go to the point of seasoning their foods. So that way, but they don't go to the point of, I can't talk. They don't go to the point of seasoning the foods beforehand. So that way they cooks into the food. That makes sense? Yeah. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. So I'm gonna just drop stuff. I'm gonna actually add a little bit of olive oil as well to the chicken breast. So what this is gonna do, it's gonna help with a couple things. One, so it doesn't stick to the bag while we're flattening it out. And then two, that olive oil is just gonna seep in and give a lot of flavor. It's gonna also help while it's cooking so we can get a little crispier. Okay, so we're gonna seal our bag up because we don't want any juices flying around. And get a little extra air out here. Okay, cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start flattening it. And you don't just want to just bang on it. That's not really gonna be helpful. What you're gonna do is, be soft but firm, gentle but firm, and then also kind of hit down and out. That will flatten out your chicken breast evenly instead of having just tear and become gross. So we're gonna kind of just flatten it out little by little. Kind of move it around a little bit. All right, that looks about right. I'm not quite sure, but all right, so we're gonna pull it out of the bag, just kind of see what we're looking at here, how it's kind of forming out. And yeah, I would say that looks a lot better. As you can see, it's a lot, where this part was really big and thick and this part was kind of skinnier on this end, so it's all kind of spread out into a more even thickness. which is gonna help a lot while we're cooking, so that way it cooks at an even temperature. So from this point on, let's get our skillet preheated, and then we can get our chicken on and start cooking. Okay, so now we got our pans preheated. We are getting our water boiling, so that will be necessary for pasta, because that's what you do with pasta. You have to boil it. And so that's been preheating. We're gonna add a little bit of butter into our pan here. And we're just gonna add, about a yay size of butter. Just that way. Turn this, oh freak, that.
Butterfingers.
Don't let your butter fall out of the pan. We all have accidents. So I'm actually turning it down a little bit because the butter's been going pretty fast. And you know what? Just to make it a little more even, we'll add a little more on this side as well as. Get off the knife. We got our butter in the pan, and then our chicken is now going to go down. And so you hear that? We hear when it's sizzling. That means it's cooking. So you hear that the chicken is loudly cooking. You know, it's sizzling, it's going. That means it's cooking. Don't touch it. Let it just sit there for a couple minutes. 3 to 4 minutes. That way it can get really crispy, juicy, and cook all the way through. So in about 3 to 4 minutes, we'll come back and we'll check it again. All right. So now while the chicken's cooking, we're gonna get all the ingredients for the sauce, the Alfredo sauce, ready. So first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut up half an onion. We got my onion right here, and then I'm gonna be using just the normal chef's knife. It doesn't really matter too much what kind of knife you're using, what's name brand, what kind of steel. As long as it feels good in your hand, that's a good knife to be using. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna cut off the bottom down here, and then we're gonna want to try to remove all of this extra outside, the casing, shell. I don't. What do you call this? What do you call this? The shell, casing? I don't really know. The skin? Is it skin? It's skin. Yeah. So we're gonna take all that off. That's not food. You don't want it. You can use kind of the knife to get under the skin and help take it off. And so that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna peel your onion. There we go. So once we get it all peeled, we have an onion. This is an onion. So we're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna set off one side, we're not gonna use that. And we probably won't end up using half the onion, but, oh my goodness. We probably won't use half the onion, but maybe a quarter, so half of this. Something like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create, oh man, the onion's already starting to make me cry. So we're gonna create a couple little slits in the onion. We're gonna get nice and chopped up. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh, why do onions make you cry? It hurts so bad, it stings. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of putting a couple, freak. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I put a couple slits down the onions, you can see. So now I'm going to take my knife and just kind of cut it down here in the middle. So what it's going to do is going to create a couple lines. Now as I chop, you can see it just comes out as nice little onion bits. Oh, it stinks so bad. Can someone give me the science of why onions make you cry? Like what? Why? What happens? Ah, freak! Oh my goodness, my eyes. Open a freaking window. Oh, it's locked. Oh gosh, that hurts so bad. Okay, so we got our onions sliced up. We'll throw that away in a second. We're gonna get a bowl to put this away in. So classic Tupperware. Just scoop it all up. I'm not a professional. I'm just trying to bring you guys entertainment. So don't judge me too hard. And then, yeah, I'm gonna clean this up and we'll keep going. All right, so now, next part of preparing the sauce is we're gonna use garlic. So this is an elephant garlic. You don't need to use elephant garlic because this is ginormous, but this is what I had in the house, so that's what I'm using. So first up, actually wait, to open up the garlic, That's pretty easy. On this one, you just kind of peel it off. And then from there, I'm gonna take off this little nutty, woody looking weird part because I don't like that. And so now we just have our garlic, pretty normal stuff. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna make little slices of garlic more minced. Keep it really nice and thin. That's probably enough. And then from there, I'm going to just do it a little more fine. Because the garlic, it's an accent. It's not to be overpowering the whole thing. Just kind of give it a little extra kick. I'll probably do a little bit more, just be on the safe side. Italian dishes tend to be very garlicky, so that's what we gonna do. So once again, grab another bowl, keep that up. Put that in here. Alright, so as you can see here that our water is now boiling. So it's boiling. I don't know why I was trying to elaborate on that word. And then our chicken has been cooking for a couple minutes now. So what I'm going to do is, where are they at? 1 second. Alright, got it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these tongs, just give it a little flip. You can do it with a spatula, but I like using tongs because it lets you really just grab the meat and kind of move it around. And then we're going to also add our linguine. So usually you use fettuccine or Alfredo, but I couldn't find it in the store. So we're using linguine. We use about half the box for this recipe. Not making too much, but just a good amount. So we'll let that sit in there, and then in about 10 minutes or more or less, it should be ready. All right, so now we're back with continuing making the sauce. So we're gonna get some parsley just to chop it up and get it ready to kind of give it a little bit of aromatics. All right, so we have our fresh parsley right here. I love cooking with herbs, doing things that just give a lot of green, little life to whatever it is you're cooking. It's something that's really awesome. So just gonna cut up a bit. That should be more than enough right there. So we'll put the rest back in our bag and save it for another meal. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of bunch up. You can see I'm gonna try to roll it up here. So what this does is it takes all these herbs and just kind of, there we go. It just kind of matches it all together. So when you chop it, it makes it becomes a lot easier to get finely chopped herbs. So you can do this with pretty much any herb, basil, oregano, thyme, whatever. It just really helps it get nice and fine and chopped. So you can see here, I have this nice chop versus these leaves that didn't get chopped yet. So we're gonna keep doing that. And there is our parsley. I'm just gonna put it off to the side of our cutting board right here. Just kind of keep it out of the way, ready to use when needed. So that's kind of how we're gonna do it. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grate about 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. Okay, great. So we got our Parmesan cheese. So just gonna open it up a little bit. I'm using some kitchen scissors. You can use a knife. You can use, what? How do you open this? Wait, hold on. Got it. There we go. Okay. We did it. We got our cheese out. Good Parmesan cheese. Get that out of the way. So now we're just gonna kind of sit here, grate some cheese. Cut myself in the cheese grater. I grated myself.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, so once you've cleaned up your wounded from grating yourself, don't do that. You're just gonna keep grating. Be gentle with it. Take your time. It's not a race. Don't do what I did. And just, you know what? It's cooking. We're having fun. We're oh my goodness, it's bleeding. Okay, I'm just hurting myself a lot today, pretty much. That's what's happening. I cheese grated my thumb. I just smashed my other thumb in a door. This isn't fun. Cooking is hazardous. Just keep grating your cheese. Be careful. Take your time. Enjoy what you do, you know? Just enjoy it. Okay. A little bit more. Why not? Who doesn't love cheese, you know? Perfect. Okay, so we got that. We got our cheese grated. We got our parsley. We got our onions. We got our garlic. So we're gonna start making the sauce. I think the pasta's almost ready, so we're gonna check on that right now. Alrighty, so our pasta has been boiling for about 10 minutes. You can see it's a really nice, soft. It's pasta. It's pasta, you know? So let's give it a little taste. It's hot. I always have to dance it around in my hand before I taste it, so that way it doesn't get too hot. And yeah, it's got just a little bit of bite to it. So that means it's ready. It's al dente, which means to the bite. So we're going to drain it out. We're gonna put it to the side and then wait for our sauce and our chicken to be ready. Getting your noodles. Pot in pot. Set that there and leave it there. All right. And now we're also gonna check on our chicken. So let's see how it's. Ooh, she's looking beautiful. Give her another flip. So the way to tell if chicken is done cooking, it needs to measure 165 degrees Fahrenheit in the deepest part of the chicken. So we're gonna do that. If you don't have a meat thermometer, you can just kind of give it a cut open, and if it's nice and white on the inside, you know it's ready. Wait a minute. Okay, found the meat thermometer. Sorry. So what you do is open it up. My thumb is still bleeding. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we are going to stick it in and read it. Yeah, so it says that we have an internal temperature of 165, 170. Yeah, okay. So our chicken's well cooked. I would like to stab it in a couple extra places just to kind of test it out. Make sure, you know, it's cooked all throughout just in case. So we are going to move our chicken over and keep it on a low heat, just kind of keep it warm. I'll even cover it too, just that way, you know, none of the heat is escaping. And now to start with our sauce. So we're gonna do this on a medium heat. Once again, we have to let it preheat. We're gonna add a little bit of butter to get started. So that's what we'll go, and I'll come back when it's fully preheated. Okay, so now our pan, it's heating up. I put about 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan to get started. You might think that's too much, and it might. I'm not a professional. I'm just trying my best. So we're gonna let this butter melt it. We are going to add in our onions that we chopped up earlier. Don't just throw them in like a savage, but kind of put them in nicely, unlike how I did. So we're gonna just toss them in there. Let them soak up, let them fry until they turn a nice golden brown. Get nice and soft. That's when we're gonna add in our garlic. Okay, so our onions are coming along really nicely. They're getting really soft. They're smelling delicious. They're absorbing up a lot of that butter that we put in, so it's gonna give them an amazing flavor. So right now we are going to add in our garlic. Get that all in there, and just let it toss around, let it sweat. So that way it just kind of starts smelling really nice in here. And honestly, that's how I cook garlic. I just cook it until it smells nice. And then when I do that, I know it's pretty much ready. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna let this garlic, onion, butter thing, we're gonna let it thicken up a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some flour. Get 1 tablespoon. I feel like that's half a tablespoon. So we get about one, let's go two. Two should be enough. If I can get it out of a bag. About 2 tablespoons of flour, just so that kind of soak up a little bit, make it a little bit thicker in the end. So we're gonna give that a stir. Grab this towel here. I'll give it a stir. There we go. All right. Now that we have this kind of this homogeneous, gooey, I don't know what you call it. We're gonna add it in our milk so that it'll actually start looking more like an Alfredo sauce. So I'm gonna use whole milk because I like the fat, I like the flavor it has. I'm gonna throw that on. And we're gonna slowly add about 2 cups of milk. So I'm gonna add some in, stir it around. Make sure you guys are at medium heat, by the way, while you're doing this. It's a slow process, it's over time. So we're gonna add it in, there we go. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Just getting it going, there we go. Just gonna slowly add it in. So this, over time, will start to thicken up, especially when we add our cheese. So this will thicken up over time. So now we're gonna grab just a good amount of that cheese that we just freshly grated, and we're gonna add it in. Get a little bit more because we have enough, and we're gonna save a little bit just to put on top at the end to kind of finish off our plate. So we're gonna add that in there. Give it a couple of stirs. Okay, great. So while our Alfredo sauce is kind of, getting there, I'm gonna put it down a little bit more, just kind of keep it simmering. So while we're letting that go, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start cutting up our chicken. That looks delicious. Alright, so we're gonna go chicken on the block. So now that the chicken has been cut, it's okay to handle on these wooden boards because it's cooked juices, so that's okay. It's gonna be sanitary. There's no salmonella, there's no coronavirus. So what we're gonna do, actually I'm gonna get a fork, make this a little bit easier on myself instead of using the tongs. So we're just gonna get a fork. You know what? We're just gonna kind of cut that open. You can kind of see in there, it's nice and white, really juicy deliciousness. So we're just gonna cut these into strips to add back into our chicken Alfredo. Alrighty, so we got our chicken breast nice and cut up, just hanging out. We're gonna check on our Alfredo sauce. So as you can see, our sauce has been thickening up a lot. As I drag my spoon in, it's taking time until the sauce actually starts to collapse in. So that's how you know it's ready. Before we go on, we're gonna season our sauce to taste. Add some salt, some pepper. I like use a lot of pepper, so I'm actually going to open it up and dump it in. We I also would like to use a little bit of oregano. So I'm gonna throw in some oregano. Pretty much you can add whatever herbs and spices that you like. I really like these kinds. I feel it adds nice flavor, a little kick. Just kind of makes your sauce better. If that makes sense. Give it a little taste. Ouch. Yeah, shut that. Okay, give it a little taste. That's delicious. Alrighty. That looks good. Okay. So what we're gonna do now, just pick up a chicken, add a chicken, boom, chicken in, mix it up, and then we're gonna add in our pasta. There we go. There we go, ravioli. Okay, and just mix it all in. Kind of use your other spoon to break it up because I let my pasta sit too long and it got stuck. So we're gonna mix it all in, mix it through. All right, so we got that. We're gonna top it off with the rest of our cheese that we grated up. There we go. And our parsley. One last stir. Get it all, there we go. One last stir, get it all mixed in. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Some chicken Alfredo. All right, so I brought the one and only Brandy Cox, my mother, to try the pasta. Can you scooch over? Actually, yeah, right there's fine. Yeah, perfect. So, Mom, I tried my best. I hope it's good. So I'm gonna let you be the taste test, and you can give me your honest opinion.
All right.
Yeah.
Is this for the money?
That's for the money. So, get a little chicken in there. There you go. Big bite.
Oh,
Let's see.
that's too big.
It's too big. All right. There you go. Let me give it a little try. What do you think?
You'll make a good husband someday.
I try to impress the ladies. You know how I am. I'm looking for those angels.
Yeah. And ladies, if you're watching, I have raised him to be a gentleman, open doors.
Put the toilet seat
appreciate
down.
him, put the toilet seat down, cook, so
All right.
good catch.
That is good though. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mom.
Muy bien.
Love you. All right. So that's been Cooking with Payton. So I know you guys are bored during quarantine. There's a lot of things that you guys wish you could be doing. Maybe you can cook. It'll bring you some joy to your life and fill your stomach. So this has been